President Joe Biden is apparently getting rid of staffers who have used marijuana. So already ridiculous. So this is according to a report in the Daily Beast. Dozens of young White House staffers have recently been suspended, asked to resign, or placed at remote work programs due to past marijuana use. Frustrating staffers who were initially pleased by indications from the Biden administration that recreational use of cannabis would not be immediately disqualifying for would-be personnel, according to three people familiar with the situation. So the policy has even affected staffers whose marijuana use was exclusive to one of the 14 states and the District of Columbia where cannabis happens to be legal. So he is canning people for having done pot in the past. Absolutely ridiculous. What is the point? Even again in places where it's legal, and it's not as if that they're doing it on the job. Just I don't understand. But okay, there's more details here. Quote, sources familiar with the matter also said that a number of young staffers were either put on probation or canned because they revealed that they had used marijuana in the past in an official document they filled out for the position in the Biden White House during a lengthy background check. Well, I guess they thought, well, look, we're going to be honest about this. Yeah, we had used it in the past. And what's the issue? And later on, since they were being honest, because they didn't have to fill that out, they didn't have to say anything. Oh, no, of course not. What are you talking about? But they believed the Biden administration would be okay with this. And it turns out that later on, they were not okay with this. It's pretty ridiculous. So now, let's see. In some cases, the Beast reported, staffers were informally told by transition higher-ups ahead of the formally joining the administration that they would likely overlook some past marijuana use, only to be later asked to resign. The Beast had interviewed one staffer who said this, one former staffer. There was one-on-one calls with individual affected staffers, rather ex-staffers. I was asked to resign. Nothing was ever explained on the calls. The policies were never explained. The threshold for what was excusable and what was inexcusable was never explained. The calls, of course, were led by Ann Filippic, the White House Director of Management and Administration. So this, again, is absolute and total BS. You realize that under these same rules, guess who wouldn't work at the White House? Barack Obama. Remember Barack Obama? The Choom gang used to go and intercept, weed whenever it was passed around parties. Yeah, that Barack Obama could not work in the Biden White House, which is ironic because, again, Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president. And of course, we know why. It's to get the white vote. Well, of course, to get white people to be comfortable with Barack Obama. We know that. But this is such a big step backwards when it comes to drug policy. It is absolutely ridiculous. This is boomer drug war, reefer madness, absolute fucking nonsense. There is no reason that someone who indulged in the past, or even indulges on their off time in places where it's legal, in places where it's not legal, hey, because it should be legal everywhere. It should be legal everywhere. It should not be a Schedule I drug. All right? There's no reason that they should lose their job. There's no way to explain that they're incapable of their job. You cannot present any sort of evidence that is the case. It's so ridiculous. But here's what the White House has to say. They're doing it for the best people. You understand? Quote, the White House's policy will maintain the absolute highest standards for service in government that the president expects from his administration, while acknowledging the reality that state and local marijuana laws have changed significantly across the country in recent years. According to an unnamed spokesperson, the decision was made following intensive consultation with career security officials and will effectively protect our national security while modernizing policies to ensure that talented and otherwise well-qualified applicants with limited marijuana use will not be barred from serving the American people. But that's exactly what they're doing. They are barring people from government service because they had limited marijuana use. They're smoking a plant, and not even one that is dangerous. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I don't even smoke weed. I'm normally a super, super calm person. But this does make me furious. It really does, because it's stupid. This is a dumb move. I would expect this from a Jeff Sessions administration, a Republican administration. Okay. This is the Biden administration. So, but what happened to being the most progressive since FDR? Okay. It's so ridiculous. And it's not like any of these people were toking it up on the job. Okay. That would be different, because that would get in the way. That would get in the way. That would be different. I don't want somebody doing that. I don't want somebody drinking on the job. Of course, it happens all the time. And look, I understand you want to differentiate your administration versus the Trump administration, which I'm pretty sure, look, y'all, I don't have any evidence of this. But Don Jr. wasn't a part of the administration. But Donald Trump himself, you don't think that they were all high up on coke all the time? You know it. You know it. Come on. And again, if you do it on your own time, I'm not saying coke. If you smoke pot on your own time, totally fine. That's absolutely fine. You're not hurting anybody. The worst you're going to do on pot is destroy a plate of tacos. That is unless, of course, you take too much of an edible and you kind of freak out. But it's still not, it's not going to kill you. You know? But again, this is just like the rest of the drug war. And this actually has bigger implications on the drug war. Because it's really incredibly unnecessary. It's a holdover from racist drug policies that were originally there to go after progressives, liberals, hippies, minorities, you name it. The Schaefer Commission back during the Nixon administration. That's exactly what the war on drugs was created to do. And Biden was a gigantic supporter of it and continues to be a supporter of it. And a supporter of the prohibition of cannabis. It is absolutely absurd. Even so, you've got former Obama administration officials. This is former National Security Council spokesperson Tommy Vietor. Here's what he said. Quote, "I find it absurd. In 2021, marijuana use is still part of the security clearance background check. To me, marijuana use is completely irrelevant when you're trying to decide whether an individual should be trusted with National Security Administration." And of course, the reason of that is, for all of this, is misconceptions and absolute lies about what cannabis does. Cannabis isn't actually physically addictive like other drugs. That's not to say that people cannot be psychologically addicted, but then again, people can get psychologically addicted to just about anything. Guess what? I'm addicted to coffee. Are we going to outlaw coffee? We're going to say that people that drink coffee can't go and work in the Biden White House? Oh, because, you can get addicted to coffee. Look, you can even have withdrawal symptoms from drinking too much caffeine. I mean, yes, you get headaches. You're tired for a week. You don't feel right. You might not be able to focus for a little while until that clears up. Should that disqualify you from a job in the Biden White House? And again, cannabis does not have those same effects. It just doesn't. And again, you can be psychologically addicted, but that's not the same as a physical addiction. That's not the same as somebody withdrawing from heroin and cocaine, and yet keeping marijuana, cannabis, as a Schedule I drug. You were saying that that it is just as dangerous as those two different drugs, just as dangerous, just as harmful, just as life-destroying as those two drugs. And no, that's not at all accurate. Not at all accurate. It is complete Trump-level disinformation. It is completely ignoring science. I thought the Biden administration said that we were going to follow the science. Oh, we believe in science. No, you don't. Not about cannabis. I don't know. Maybe he's taking too many bribes, legal bribes from the alcohol industry, which hates the cannabis industry, or the paper industry, which also hates the hemp industry. Maybe. Could be. Absolutely ridiculous. And of course, it has racist connotations as well. Keeps minorities in prison. Keeps minorities for cheap labor for these corporations, these private prisons. So many horrible reasons why this is such a stupid move and has bigger implications, not just on, of course, working in the White House. This is one small thing, but it shows you that the Biden administration will continue to do their disastrous things that were involved in the drug war, to continue that, to perpetuate that worthless, ridiculous, bloated, disastrous policy. Expensive. God. And again, that's the justification for them. Oh, no, we're just worried about this. People might get addicted to marijuana and then might want to have to sell national secrets. It's national security. Has nothing to do with national security. Nothing. It's not like they're doing it at work, which would be very different. But again, this shows you that he's not at all interested in doing anything about the drug war. And legalizing or decriminalizing marijuana would be one of the biggest ways to, really impact the cartels, for one, and ending this drug war. And it's unfortunate because this is also one of the really big drivers, the drug war is, of immigration from Central America. Right now, the Biden administration, we're getting slammed and the Republicans are pouncing. And they're saying, oh, it's because, Biden is welcoming immigrants in. Well, why are immigrants leaving in the first place their homes? Violence, poverty. A lot of it has to do with our involvement in those countries in the drug war. And that's what's going on here. This is the problem. Okay? And conservatives are already weaponizing it. The next thing you know, Fox News is going to once again bring up the caravans. Here we go. And this is unfortunate as well because we spend billions of dollars in the drug war, which again in the United States leads to mass incarceration for the minority population. It creates over-policing in these communities, these minority communities, and all these different negative effects that Biden is not going to do anything about. And again, I didn't personally have any hope for that. Given that, of course, Biden is somebody who's supported the drug war in the past, it was pretty adamant in not doing anything about rescheduling cannabis. I was just maybe hoping that maybe someone around him might have convinced him to at least try to go forward in that direction. But again, it shows me that, again, it's not going to happen. It's sad, but wholly expected from the administration that had promised their donors nothing will fundamentally change. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.